Here. So good to see you all. I am going live on Facebook and Instagram. Great to see you. So I am talking today about why we struggle to love ourselves. For so many of us who've grown up feeling like there's something wrong inside of us, this is for you. This is a video to let you know that you are not bad. And things have happened in your life that have let you feel that there's something wrong with you rather than there are things in life that are happening. So, hi, good to see you. Welcome. So, I want to go through just a few things with you, 5 things that can get in the way of you loving you. So, we're going to look at our family programming, our race, culture, and religion, our stage of development, the abuse that happened, and our body. So let's go through these one at a time. And as I'm going through, if you know somebody who struggles with loving themselves, if they're mean to themselves, if they're critical, or if they're always giving to other people and not thinking about themselves, I'd love you to share this with them, because it's a message I want to get out to the world. Because, I remember as a little kid being treated badly. And I asked my mom if I could go to an orphanage, because I was sure that at an orphanage I would get treated better. And she said, "Oh, people in an orphanage, it's far worse for them." And I burst into tears at the thought that other people felt unloved in the world. And I didn't want them to feel like that. And I used to imagine, how could I reach people to let them know you so deserve love? And when we understand what has gone on that has stopped us, when we're aware, often awareness is the first step to change, because then you're not thinking there's something wrong with me. You can see, oh no, these things happened, and that impacted my sense of self and how I feel in the world. So let's go through this. For those of you who are here, I'm thrilled that you are here and listening. At the end, I'm going to be sharing about my self-love experience that's going to be happening next week. So if you want to hang around for that, that would be fab. Otherwise, check in and let's see these 5 things that stop you from loving yourself. Your first is the family programming. If you came from a family where there was addiction, mental illness, a lot of financial difficulties, it really helped me. My worst financial difficulty, when my ex wasn't paying maintenance, I had PTSD, I was struggling to work. I read that being in a huge financial pressure is like a 3-day hangover. Many of us know what a hangover feels like. It's horrendous. It's utterly awful. And so when a parent is going through that, they're not present to their kids. And then their kids think, are they not lovable? Is there something wrong with them that their parents aren't caring for them? So hands up if you had a parent who had addiction or mental illness or poverty, or they were workaholics or having an affair. All of those things take up mental energy, emotional energy, physical energy. That means that they are not present to you. If they were moving around a lot, getting divorced or going through a lot of upheavals, domestic violence, those things would impact just how you see yourself, the stuff that's going on around you. So if you think as this little child, when you're in the world and you're seeing your parents struggling and they're not being attentive to you, they're not caring or connecting with you, it makes you feel dead inside. And when you feel that deadness and you haven't had a proactive interest from outside of you, how would you know what love looks like? How would you know how to love yourself when that just hasn't happened for you? And then what we often do when we have distracted, unengaged parents is we overfunction to get little scraps of love. And so we're used to people pleasing just to get something. We often have had to take care of our parent, whether it's emotionally or physically. And that parentification, we cut off from ourselves and be the parents to other people and treat ourselves like we're not there. So that's the first thing, is that programming in childhood. I remember working with this teenager. I used to be a therapist in a school, a counselor in a school. And the guy said to me, when I come home, my mom doesn't even look up from the television. She doesn't even know that I'm there. And at school, this kid was failing in his classes, swearing at teachers, going truant, drinking, smoking. It wasn't that he was a bad kid. He was a lovely kid, and I adored working with him. It's just that his mom had chronic depression. And, one day I shared with him, maybe make her a cup of tea and drink a cup of tea when you get home together. And his mom turned around to him and smiled and burst into tears and said that was the kindest thing anybody had done to her in her life, is bring her a cup of tea. So if you've had a parent who has that going on, they don't have the capacity. After that, she started making him a cup of tea when he came home from school, and it changed everything, just one cup of tea. But that pressure, straight away at that age, he's learning to overfunction, to get little scraps of love. But that scrap of love was better than complete neglect that he had had previous to that. All right, so that's the first one, is the family programming. The next is your body. We look at the media and capitalism that is focused on making us not love ourselves, not like ourselves, judging ourselves, so we feel inadequate, unworthy, and awful about ourselves, so that then whatever product that they have is going to make us go, oh, if I just had that, suddenly I would feel better about myself. But that's not the reality, because love is an inside job. What we wear, look at me, no makeup on, no product in my hair. Love is an inside job. No makeup is going to change how I love myself. But that's not what capitalism would have you believe. Capitalism wants to make profit for a few people and doesn't give a damn about everybody else. Everybody else is just there to line their profits. So they manipulate that love to make us feel awful about ourselves. I don't want that for you. I don't want you to get the messages from social media of these plastic lives where they're doing that because you watch it and then they get more advertising and then it makes them more money, but it leaves you feeling dead inside, like you're not lovable because you're not perfect, because you don't look beautiful, because you're not traveling to gorgeous paradise islands. When you are living like that and noticing the media all around you that's pushing, you have to be this ideal. And frequently the ideal is blonde-haired Caucasian people. And everybody else just feels like they can't live up to that. Instead of going, diversity is rich, delicious, tasty, beautiful, curly hair, different shades of skin are all gorgeous. But when we're listening to what the media pushes out of what the ideal is, then we feel the sense of, how can I love myself? And to love ourselves is this act of deep courage and a sense of breaking free out of that. The next one is our race and culture and religion. So many of us come from religions that say family comes first. You have to respect your mother and father. You have to be somebody to be loved by God. You have to, or Allah, or for instance, in race, where you frequently, for people who are from African American, Black cultures, where you are expected to be an adult while you're a child, you can't fully be yourself because if something happens, the whole race is blamed rather than you as an individual, where in white cultures, that doesn't happen like that. We're seen as individuals. And it's just so wrong and unfair. And when you're in that, there is a strong expectation of who you have to be and how you have to be loved, to be accepted, to even be safe in the world. So when you are coming from a race like that, there is a step that just on a profound, me as somebody who is white already has that privilege that other people, where just because of my skin, that gives me in the world, a deeper acceptance. And that's just wrong. So for folk who aren't in that, the sort of race that media pushes out in the world of, I just get tongue-tied and tongue-twisted because it is so wrong. And it makes people feel unloved. I don't know if you've watched the videos of these beautiful kids who are shown a dark baby, a medium colored baby, and a light baby, and said, which one is the pretty one? And they point to the white baby. Which one is the clever one? And they point to the white baby. That is just toxic socialization. That straight away a kid with a darker skin just from socialization feels that they are not lovable. And I want you to know that you are lovable. What is not likable or lovable is this very toxic socialization. And so when all these coaches and therapists and books are bypassing and going, you should just be happy and healthy and positive and nice and love yourself, there are layers to work through and to unravel of understanding why we are like that, so that then we can create the foundation. Now we are clearing out the cracks that have been there, and we can rebuild in a beautiful way of learning how to love ourselves. All right, the next one, number 4, is our development. In stages of development, we go from teenagehood. Welcome, everybody. We go from teenagehood, which is all about ourselves. We're doing what we want to get our own needs met. And at that stage, at a teenage stage, our sense of self and how we love ourselves comes from our self-image and our peers. And if we as teenagers were awkward, like, I look at the pictures of myself, my hairstyles, I clearly felt very uncomfortable as a teenager. I really, really struggled. And if you came from that in energy where you weren't a part of the popular culture, and then you go into the next stage of development. The next stage of development is called the role rule mind. And the role rule mind is you have to be a certain way and you have to play a certain role to be accepted. And if you are not that, then you're not loved. And so in that, you will hear people saying you have to be nice, you have to be good, you have to be kind, rather than you have to be real and true to you. The following stage of development is where we get into a sense of, hey, I don't fit in with what the roles and the rules were in childhood. I want to be myself. I want to be who I am. I want to become what I love and who I want to be in the world. And this is a huge act of self-love and care, because it's really standing up for ourselves. And like somebody said, of the sugar-coated shit, where people are like, you should just be nice and happy so you can fit in with all of us. But inside of ourselves, we're feeling these parts of ourselves that are going, no, I want to be met and loved for who I am. And that's the next stage of development. And the course that I'm going to be, or the workshop that I'm going to be running, I'm just going to quickly put the link up for a second. For those of you who want to join, restoring.love/workshop, we look at it's a self-love experience, really loving yourself so that you can wake up to who you are. It's going to be a new workshop with new exercises that I've not done before, things that my Restore group have found really beneficial to loving themselves. And I want to offer that to you too. So come and join that. All right, let me give you the fifth self-love or thing that makes us struggle with self-love. If we had any level of trauma or abuse in childhood, if we had sexual abuse, we might have felt shamed or dirty or at fault, or like we can't trust others. And if they are nice to us, then we're like, oh, there's something wrong with you because you're trying to pry me, so we don't trust people. And we feel like squirmy inside. I had sexual abuse, so when people are nice to me, I'm like, are you doing that because you want something or because you're genuine? There's a lot of trust around that. If you've had physical abuse, you feel unsafe, you feel like you don't matter, you feel wary of people and on high alert. So you're not focused on loving you because there's a sense of a wall around you. If you had emotional or mental abuse where you are gaslighted or bypassed or shouted at or humiliated or mocked or shamed, then you really internalize that there's something wrong with you and you're bad and you are not worthy. If you've had neglect, you feel like you're invisible and not interested and no one cares, and that you're actually not likable. Now, here's the challenge of that programming. When you think that you don't like yourself, the pain matrix in the brain is also the part that develops empathy for other people. When you're around somebody who you don't like, that part of the brain in the empathy circuit doesn't get activated when you don't like somebody. Doesn't happen in everybody, but in the majority of people, when you don't like somebody, that part of the brain doesn't get activated. So if you were brought up to feel that you are not likable and you are not lovable, then your brain won't be activated to experience love for you. So it's not your fault that you were like that. And now you can shift that. The brain is malleable. It can change. Neural pathways can develop when you are experiencing love in new ways, and you can activate those parts. But you have to understand what happened so that you can shift inside of yourself, knowing you didn't deserve that. It's not your fault. You are so lovable and you are so deserving of love and care and goodness. And when you can acknowledge what happened wasn't my fault and I didn't deserve it, and now I deserve love, then there's a shift into going, but how? How do I love myself when I haven't experienced that in fullness, where what I was feeling was dismissed, so now I don't know how to deal with those feelings, where I wasn't treated with interest, so I don't know how to be interested. Well, that's what we're going to do in the self-love experience. So if you pop along to that, you can join us, sign up and join us so that you're able to love you and cherish you and start the seeds of rewiring yourself so that you know that you are worthy, you are loved, and you are so deserving of goodness and care. So let me summarize for those of you who came later. Such a pleasure. When you don't like somebody, your brain doesn't get activated with empathy and care. It just is shut down. And so if you don't like yourself, then you won't have empathy for yourself. So when you turn around and you go, all right, I'm shifting in this, I'm going to love myself, I'm going to treat myself with the goodness that I always deserved, you are shifting that whole energy and going, I'm going to change my brain. I'm going to change the wiring in my heart. I'm going to change my whole being to love myself. And what happened to you in the past was not your fault. You didn't deserve that. It was wrong. And now I don't want you living the rest of your life believing that you're not worthy of love. No, what you're living is the impact of your culture. I will go through these 5 things that I shared. You're living the impact of the family programming, of the media and capitalism that lets you know that you're only worth what you buy, or how you look as this idealized person. In the family programming, I spoke about if a family had addiction or mental illness or affairs, all their energy was going to other things and not leaving you like you were somebody important and you mattered. Then, of course, our race and culture and religion, growing up thinking you have to be somebody to be accepted by that culture rather than loved for you. And then we looked at your development. If you're at a stage of, if everybody around you is at a stage of this role rule mind, this is who you have to be, this is how you have to behave to be loved, and you're like, well, I'm different to that, then you are heading out of that stage. Ken Wilber describes that stages of development take about 5 to 15 years to come out of. If you're meditating, you're doing shadow work, you're doing therapy, you're learning love skills, you're able to stretch into who you are, then you will stretch quicker in growing to the next stage of development. If people around you are not meditating, they're not doing therapy, they're not working on themselves, they will stay in role rule mind and they will try to control you to stay there too. An act of loving yourself and saying, I deserve this, takes you out of that, and people will try to go, no, stay with us. And so loving yourself is essential to be able to create a life that you love. And then finally looked at the impact of abuse, making you feel like you are not likable. And when in the pain matrix, in the brain and the empathy circuit, if you don't like somebody, that empathy circuit doesn't light up because you don't like them. And if you have been taught that you are not likable, then that empathy and love won't resonate and activate for you. So I really want you to shift in yourself and take an act of courage. I know, Nessa, it's so good to have you here. And yes, to surround yourself with other folk who are being proactive around healing. It makes such a difference having other people who go, oh my goodness, I've just realized this. And then somebody else goes, I'm curious about this. And somebody else says, oh, I looked at that and healed that. And then you can feed off each other and work through things in yourself that change so much, because then you realize, oh my God, I'm not alone in this. I am likable. What happened to me was wrong. And I'm worthy of being loved. But when you haven't had love, then you don't know how to give it to yourself. So if you want to come and join us, the link is there, restoring.love on the screen. Click that and come and join the workshop. It starts in about 10 days' time. And I will do some free videos in the group next week for those of you who joined today, so that you can come and get extra support. The family programming, the media, race, culture, religion, and our stages of development so impact who we are. And I am so looking forward to helping those of you who have not experienced love learn what love feels like. Because when you know what love feels like and somebody is not treating you with love, or you're not behaving in a way that is loving towards yourself, you can remember that and go, oh, wow, this is not love. This is not what I deserve. And then you can make steps to head towards love. But when you don't know what it is, you just get enmeshed in relationships within yourself and with other people that are toxic, paranoid, filled with conflict, and where you are devalued and you're having to overfunction for scraps of love. I don't want that for you. I want you to be living a life that you love and creating goodness and care for you. Love you to come and join us. And I don't want to carry on talking for ages, because then other people will come and go, it's too long to watch. So I want you to know, more than anything, it is not your fault that you don't know how to love you. You think we don't have at school, hey, self-love 101, how to communicate with yourself. You're not bad. All of those things we don't have at school. We have a lot of shaming. We have a lot of pressure to fit in. What we don't have is the lessons on loving ourselves. And when we love ourselves, it changes everything. I just want you to pause for a moment and tune in and go, if I love myself just 5% more, how would life change? Just 5% more. How would my tone of voice change to other people? How would treating myself shift? What would I do in the world differently? When people have done my workshops, they are so blown away by how things shift that suddenly they stand up for themselves more, they find their voice more, they treat their kids better, and they become more proactive in achieving their dreams. And I want that for you. I want you loving yourself and knowing that you are so worthy of deserving of love and care and goodness. And it's so easy to be on this sort of self-development path, and then life gets in the way and we get stuck and blocked and challenged, and then we fall off the self-development path. I know that I've done that at times. I've got sort of, embroiled in things. What is great about these little mini workshops is that you just have 1 week to reinvigorate and spark in yourself that commitment to yourself, to let yourself know you deserve to be loved. And I always struggle where people have said, it begins with you. If you can't love yourself, you don't know how to love other people. No, if you've not had love, how do you suddenly magically know how to love? I'm going to share with you what I've learned over, I've been a therapist for 30 years, and I became a therapist because I didn't know how to love myself and I wanted to learn that. So, know that it's just £7 for a week. And if you, there's a question here, do your workshops come with the hard copy resources? It's £7 for 1 week. So you have access to everything in that week. And if you would like to get the replays, then you're welcome to sign up for the VIP and for the VIP offer. And in the VIP offer, you have access, and in the videos, you have the transcripts, and you can go through the transcripts. So the link won't, for £7, it's a £7 event. Like if you went to a music event, you don't get to keep a copy of it. You can't take recordings. That's the same as this. But if you do the VIP, because the website costs me every single month to keep paying. So for those of you who want to have the transcripts and read through everything in your own time, then you can do the VIP experience. I've just bought some little goodies for those people who sign up to the VIP experience. I've never done this before. So those folk who come and join the VIP experience might just get something in the post, which is quite fun. So come and join us. We would love to see you there. And it's going to be a beautiful week together. So come and join us. Click on the Restoring.Love workshop. And more than anything, know this. You did not deserve what happened to you and what is going on in the world that's made you think that you are not lovable and you don't deserve love. It's not the truth. You have always deserved love. And thankfully, thanks to the internet, it's really easy to get accessible resources. And this is so affordable to have £7 for a week workshop where every day, just 10 minutes a day, I do a video 10 minutes a day, plus 2 Q&As where I deep dive into all your questions. And for those of you who want the replays, you can get the VIP offer. And alongside the VIP offer, I also do half-an-hour coaching every day. So for those of you who want extra support. So come along and join us. We'd love to have you with us. The VIP is £27. So it's not a huge amount. And, if you do a group session normally, it's £65, and you will have as VIP half an hour a day. So I want to make it affordable and accessible to everybody for this workshop as an introduction to the work that I am doing. And at the end of the workshop, I'll be telling everybody about my, I'm just blocking some advertising person who's decided to come and put adverts in the comments of some clothing. How weird. So at the end, I'll be sharing about my 10-week Overcome Emotional Abuse program. For those of you who have gone through a lot in childhood and want deeper, more intensive coaching, that is possible at the end. So I'll be sharing that at the end of the 1-week workshop. All right, everybody. Any other questions before I go? I want to make sure that you're met and loved. Otherwise, I will see you in the workshop. I'm looking forward to seeing you there, Leela and Nikita and Nessa. It will be good to see you again. I can't see everybody's names, but I'm just calling out the ones who I can see here. All right, everybody. I look forward to seeing you in the workshop. And yeah, more than anything, I can't wait to make a difference in your heart. So many of us have struggled alone and not feeling loved. And I don't want you to be alone anymore. Like Nessa said, it's just so beautiful having a self-healing community where we together are learning how to love ourselves. And it's like bits of popcorn where people go, pop, oh my God, I've just realized this. Oh my God, I've just realized that. A couple people in the Restore membership that I have this week have been sharing, oh my God, realizing that I'm loved has changed me in this way and this way. And as you do that, it stimulates other people in the changes that they can make. So I want that for you too, so that you can grow and know that you are so worthy of love and that you know how to do it for you. All right, I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you in the workshop next week. Bye.